So last year when I was up here, I talked about the number of handicapped people who worked here, right, as demonstrated by the number of people who take the handicapped door. That was last year's joke, so you don't have to laugh at it. So this year, right, since then, we've created those revolving doors. And I gotta tell you, they confuse me because I don't know what to do. Because the sections are big enough for like 4 or 5 people, so I don't know, do I get in behind somebody else and let them do the work? Or do I like get up front and push with them? What I do know is the more I push it, the slower they get. Right? And so maybe it's a team building activity that like we're all supposed to push. So in any case, I do exactly what I made fun of last year, and I've just become another handicapped person who uses the And so I'm part of the IT leadership program, don't laugh. And as part of that, we went to Indonesia earlier this year. And so before we went, we spent half a day with travel and security learning all the things not to do, right? Don't drink the water, don't congregate near people, and whatever you do, don't dress like an American. And I think they thought I was going to come off the plane looking like Captain America, singing the Star-Spangled Banner, like, here I am! And so I get to the airport, right, waiting to take off, and I'm sitting in the lounge, and I don't know about you guys, but I like to look around the lounge and sort of figure out who I want to sit next to. It's like drafting my fantasy team. The problem is I'm not really good or lucky with fantasy, so like for football this year I wanted Aaron Rodgers, and instead I drafted Mr. Rogers. So it's not the same, he's not as good. But so similarly, I saw a lot of interesting and attractive people that I thought would be great to sit next to, but instead I got, you know, the screaming baby, the kid kicking the seat, and like the sweaty guy who smells like a meatball sandwich. Like that was my fantasy team. Yeah, that's who I got to sit next to. And so, you know, they call our names when we get on the airplane. And I also always get stuck behind the guy who doesn't understand spatial physics and is trying to shove their bag in the overhead bin, right? There's like the line of people behind him. And you're like, sir, like it's not going to fit. It's a queen mattress. Like I don't know why you're trying. Why would you bring that on a plane? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And so we're flying. And to me, the worst part is when the plane sort of like leans, right, as it's trying to land. And I always am afraid it's going to lean over too far. So I sort of view my role as like counterbalancing, right? So the plane's leaning this way and like I'm going this way. And so like at this point I'm in sweaty meatball guy's lap. But it's fine because the plane was upright, so clearly it worked. So we get to Indonesia and they're actually having a global conference there, and there were delegates from all over the world. And at one point I got in the elevator with 4 Iranian nationals who were dressed up with their uniforms and the Iranian flag, and you know, I'm thinking to myself, this is like the triple crown of like targets, right? I'm American, I'm Jewish, and I work for a corporation, right? So I'm like, you know, maybe I'll take the non-kidnapping, you know, elevator next time. Now the good news is I was still wearing my Captain America outfit, and instead of the star in the middle, I had the Jewish star. So I was Captain Jewmerica. So they didn't mess with me. You don't mess with Captain Jewmerica. Now, despite all of the warnings, there was one day that we all got sick. We must have eaten something, we were up all night, running to the bathroom, it was bad. And so the next day I'm thinking, you know, I traveled 10,000 miles to see something that most people never get to see in their lifetime. That would be my own small intestine. Yeah. I have pictures, yeah, you can, if you want to see. Now, despite all of those problems, I still love to travel. My brother and I went to Africa a few years ago, and we met a Maasai, we were in a Maasai village, and we met with a Maasai man and his 8 wives. And you know, we're thinking like, why does he have 8 wives? And then we met them. And like, one was missing an eye, and one had a couple teeth, and so we figured like, together it was one complete set. Right, it was like Mrs. Potato Head, like you take an eye from one, like a nose from another, and you got one mighty fine potato, you know what I mean? And so, you know, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, and recently, you know, a lot of my childhood idols have turned out not to be so great, right? You know, Hulk Hogan and Mel Gibson turned out to be racist, and, you know, the Bill Cosby incident, and Pete Rose gambled, and so I'm thinking, like, what's going to happen next? Like, are we going to hear that Mr. T joined the Taliban? Or, like, you know, Ice Cube had a bad day, perhaps? Or even like the Goonies became a prison gang. Like, I'm not sure, right? But what I do know is that, you know, so therefore it's hard to find good idols and people to look up to, and that's why places like the United Way are important. So please remember to give, and take it from Captain Jewmerica, and please give. Thank you.